Greetings. My name is Dawn Everbright, High Priestess in the Dragonfly Temple of Hecate. Welcome. Recently, Llewellyn Publishing hosted a series of interviews, a live cast for the authors that they have in their publishing house. And it was a wonderful week. It was called Llewellyn Con. It was the first one they did. And I wanted to congratulate them because I think it was a wonderful success, and I learned so much during it. They reviewed a product that inspired me a lot to tell a story which ties into the history of the Dragonfly Temple Chronicles. And that touches on, it actually goes back to the relationship when it first started with Lord Loki Hudakor and Serena Solare. When they were courting, he gifted her with 2 tarot decks. Now, the Solare family had always been abhorrent of magic. They thought that it was something that was unnatural, something that had prompted their the male portion of their genetic line way back in history to abuse and seek out and wreak havoc and just terrible sorrow upon the Solare family line. So this was something that when Serena Solare was courting Lord Loki, she was very resistant at first to accept these gifts. And what they were 2 tarot decks. One was for her and one was for the daughter that he was going to give her. I'd always had this idea in the back of my mind ever since I thought about the fact that they were going to have a relationship. It was kind of a new development in the 20-year history of how I've been formulating the Dragonfly Temple Chronicles. And back in May, we had funded a Kickstarter program for a deck called Botanica, the Language of Flowers. Well, it never occurred to me at the time that there might be a deck for Serena and a deck for her daughter Luna. But that's exactly what happened. You see, one of the interviews, one of the live casts that Llewellyn Con did was with an author named Sasha Graham. And she had just published, just this month, in June, the Darkwood Tarot. And I have to tell you, it was love at first sight. When she was talking about this deck, when she was talking about the purpose behind it, not just as a deck to read for other people, but as a journey into your shadow self for the person wielding the cards, to help them understand the deeper parts of their psyche, those things that we're afraid of, those things that are a mystery that we dare not talk about. I couldn't resist, because a lot of the story of the Dragonfly Temple Chronicles in what currently is the 3rd book is the fact of Luna coming to terms with who and what she is and the history between her family, the Solares, and their darker cousins, the Hudakors. Now, I get to tell you, I was so excited when I actually purchased this. This is the inside of the case, and it's gorgeous. The book, which I'm going to pull out here, it's a heavy book. Very high quality paper. Their pages are all slick. So they're going to last. This book is going to last a long time. It's amazing. And every single page goes in depth to each card in the major and minor arcana. And it has the full illustration of the card, and it talks about the symbolism on each card, what it means, and how you can interpret this when you pull this card in a draw. It also has the interpretations of the meaning and what they call the shadow, which is when the card is pulled upside down. This deck is so beautiful, and the book is so beautiful, and the whole thing is so beautiful. I can't recommend this enough, but it is a deck that is not to be taken lightly. A lot of people are afraid of their inner selves and what they perceive of as almost an enemy something that they keep deep within themselves and they never talk about. But if we keep our lives, our psyche split like that, we can never integrate them. We can never become whole and reach our full potential for whatever it is we were put on the physical plane to do. The back of the card is beautiful. Just everything about this deck. I can't rave enough about how gorgeous this is. This card a lot of people are familiar with, even those that don't do tarot, which is the Fool. And this is the main character, the Shadow Witch. And she goes through this journey with every card. And it describes in the book in detail of everything she encounters when she walks her path through this land and encounters all of these characters. Now, I've just finished the World card, which is the last one in the Major Arcana, and I can't wait to get into the other cards. This is a wonderful deck. It's so beautiful. I especially love the World card. That is so pretty. And just everything about it. So tonight I'm going to be starting again on the Ace of Wands, which is the first card in the Minor Arcana. And the funny thing about this is that today, Sasha on her Twitter put up an image of each of the ace cards from the 4 suits. And I thought, that's just perfect. There are no coincidences in the universe. So this deck is the inspiration. It's finally got me motivated to start writing again after some minor stresses in life where there were some things that going on that had to be settled as far as my employment. I'm a caregiver by trade, and my client passed away a week ago today. So this week has been one of settling things and introspection and decompressing from the stress of that. If you've ever taken care of somebody, you know what that's about. And starting off on a new path. And there's no better way than to start off with this beautiful Darkwood Tarot. I always try to look for signs in the universe, or at least be open and aware to them. The day that Sasha had given this talk, and I decided I really want this deck, I was going to order it, but I had a chiropractor appointment. So I went to my chiropractor, and we're in the middle of the pandemic lockdown right now, so not a lot of things are open, but the state of California is starting to open up different retail sections. One of the very few bookstores left in my area, a Barnes & Noble, just happened to open up like a couple of days earlier. So it was almost closing time for them. I called them just to see if maybe they had the deck. There's so many tarot decks out there. What were the chances they were going to have this? They had it in stock. And they said, but we're closing in 7 minutes. And I said, I'm 5 minutes away. Please put this aside for me. And they did, and I got there in time. Now, to me, that was a sign that this was meant to be. Oh, another thing I should have mentioned. The art is by Hugo Award winner Abigail Larson, and she is breathtaking. If you love goth, if you love dark art, very stylized, there is none better. Her stuff is just breathtaking. And I've subscribed to Sasha and Abigail's Twitters because combined they're a very powerful force as far as crafting this deck and bringing something amazing to the world of tarot. So that's my review, and I really hope that you will pick up the deck if you're interested in your shadow self. And just remember that those that step into the darkness, they don't need a torch. The light is within themselves. Namaste.